Israel has launched its most intense air offensive on militants in the Gaza Strip since 2008. That was yesterday, and now today there's more back and forth. So Joel Greenberg, our correspondent in Jerusalem, joins us now. And Joel, as we record this in the afternoon here in D.C., evening in Israel, just in the last hour or so, there's been a development, something that hasn't happened in a long time in Tel Aviv.
That's correct. I've been hearing this actually in the last half hour, and the Army's confirmed it now, that there has been an incoming rocket alarm sounded in Tel Aviv. There's no information about any landing of a rocket anywhere, no damage or casualties, but the Army says it's checking. They're looking into it to see whether indeed a rocket did land in the Tel Aviv area.
And the significance here is that that hasn't happened perhaps in 20 years?
Yes, if indeed a rocket did hit Tel Aviv or land in the Tel Aviv area, this goes back to the Gulf War period, 1990-91, when rockets hit Tel Aviv. Saddam Hussein in Iraq fired rockets at Tel Aviv, but this is not something that's been seen since. Earlier, a rocket actually did land in a town just south of Tel Aviv, Rishon LeZion. So clearly, the range of the rockets being fired is growing as this conflict is in its second day.
Part of the Israeli offensive going into Gaza yesterday managed to kill the military leader of Hamas. Do we have an answer to why now? Was it just a matter of opportunity, or why is this happening today rather than a week ago or a month ago?
Right. I think it was definitely an opportunity. There had been a buildup in recent weeks of incidents along the Gaza border. An Israeli jeep was fired on, 4 soldiers were wounded, and there was a kind of a spiral of tension. But it's true that in terms of Israeli casualties, there were no deaths in Israel, no serious injuries. But the feeling was that the accumulation of incidents and the frequency of them had reached a point that Israel had to respond. This is the argument the government is making. Commentators are saying there are other factors at play, including an Israeli election, which is coming up. And some have speculated that Prime Minister Netanyahu and Defense Minister Barak, in a way, want to show that they're very strong on security. They're running on security platforms, and that this is something that jives well with the campaign. So there is a lot of speculation here as to the timing. It's not completely clear what drove the Israeli leaders to do this at this point.
Is there a sense that it's in a phase of continued escalation or possibly cooling down?
Well, at this point, it's still on an upswing. I mean, the amount of Israeli airstrikes in Gaza has reached something like 200 or more. They're targeting various places where they say Hamas is storing weapons and ammunition. They say the strikes are all surgically aimed at places, but of course Gaza is a very crowded place, and any explosion in a neighborhood immediately, causes casualties in the region. And so there are reports from Gaza of civilian casualties as well. I should say that in Israel today also there were 3 people killed by a rocket that hit in the town of Kiryat Malachi. These are the first Israeli deaths in this conflict.
Okay. Joel, thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
Okay. Talk to you later.